The Rookie has its fair share of romantic drama and ship moments. Here's our ultimate ranking of the show's couples, from worst to best. We based it on chemistry, character growth, emotional impact, and fan reception.
Are you sure?
Let's get to it. Number 8, Nolan and Bailey. Even though the show tried to make it a big deal, this couple felt forced and rushed. Bailey came into the picture in season 4 after a string of Nolan's crazy exes. She was meant to be the steady influence.
I think that's a great idea.
However, there was a lack of chemistry between them, compared to John's past love interests. Also, instead of seeing their connection grow slowly, it just jumped into serious mode. We didn't really see the emotional stuff that makes a relationship feel genuine. The vibe between them has always been a little off. Like they are cool with each other, but it often feels as if they are just reading lines. Their conversations lean more toward exposition than intimacy, like when the two casually discussed moving in together. Even during big personal moments, like Bailey revealing her abusive ex-husband, the emotional impact was minimal. Nolan offered support, but the dynamic didn't evolve. It simply existed.
I'm doing it because I love you.
Still.
What makes it worse is how little their personalities challenged or complemented each other. Bailey's role seems to be disconnected from the main cast, which limits her interactions outside of her bond with John. That leads to the lack of energy between them. In the end, Nolan and Bailey's romance feels more like an obligation, not a story. There's no spark viewers expect from a lead's relationship. Next up is a couple with history, heartache, and just a little too much dysfunction. Number 7, Tim and Isabel. This pairing had all the potential to be complex and layered, but that complexity was exactly what made it fall flat for some. We've met Isabel in season 1, and she was not just Tim's estranged wife. She was a former undercover cop, fighting addiction. They had this whole messy past, which meant their scenes were usually really tense and emotional.
When we got married, I felt this huge weight to live up to your standards.
I never asked you to.
You could tell they loved each other, though. Tim clearly still had feelings for Isabel, even when he was mad or disappointed, like when he took her to rehab after she relapsed. That's what made those early scenes so powerful. But their love story just wasn't the kind that could stick around, as it was a tragic relationship, not a romantic one. The writers used it well to show a more vulnerable side of Bradford early on, but once Isabel exited the narrative, she wasn't really missed. And we are moving on to a union that looked fine on paper. Number 6, Lucy and Chris. Their relationship kicked off in season 4 with a bit of flirting and casual banter.
You could be part of the solution.
Try not to sound so condescending.
Yeah, it's hard for me.
Chris was sweet, supportive, and genuinely cared about Lucy. He was a nice change of pace after all the heavy stuff Chen was going through. They had dinner dates, shared kisses, and smiled a lot. But nothing about their scenes screamed long-term connection. It was a stable relationship, which wasn't exactly exciting, especially for someone like Lucy, who's all about challenges and growing. Eventually, it became pretty obvious that Chris wasn't the one, and even their breakup was underwhelming. It wasn't explosive or heart-wrenching, it was just inevitable.
I need to break up with Chris.
Finally. Look, he's a good dude and all, but nowhere near your level.
Chris quietly stepped aside, which was mature. So in the grand scheme of The Rookie, this romance served as a reminder that not every relationship ends in disaster, but not all of them lead anywhere meaningful either. Up next, let's have a look at Nolan's Another Shot at Love. But before we proceed, click that subscribe button to not miss any of the new awesome videos. Number 5, Nolan and Jessica. She was a better match than Bailey, and felt like a step up for John's love life. After some rocky romantic starts, Jessica brought in maturity and focus. She was Nolan's equal, which was cool.
Where are you going?
My place. I'm not taking my clothes off there.
Their connection in season 2 was built on respect and some visible chemistry. As an FBI profiler, she matched his drive, and they seemed to be a good fit on the surface. But it went on to feel more like they were trying to make it work, only because it seemed right. At the same time, John was still figuring things out, both in his life and his career.
I'm still just finding my footing.
Eventually, things fizzled out. Their split was calm and didn't have a huge impact on Nolan. That's why we mark this romance as a mid-tier. respectable but not memorable. Let's move on to a couple that showed surprising growth, even if it wasn't meant to be. Number 4, Tim and Rachel. Introduced in Season 2, Rachel was smart, grounded, and emotionally mature. She wasn't what fans expected for Bradford. But that's exactly what made their relationship so refreshing. Rachel challenged his guarded nature without trying to change him. Her calm presence also helped soften Tim's edges.
So maybe take it easy on her today?
Look, Chen is my rookie, not my friend. Fine, I'll dial it down like 2%.
That's my guy.
Their scenes often highlighted how different they were, and how those differences worked. There wasn't a lot of drama, which was kind of the point. But despite its sincerity, this pairing ultimately lacked the spark of a truly compelling couple. And it showcased the fate of many real-life long-distance relationships. Ultimately, their story wasn't about lasting love. It was about growth and preparing Tim for what came next. Rachel helped show a new side of his character, vulnerable, open, even romantic. For that, she earned a spot high on this list. And now it's time for one of the most rock-solid couples on The Rookie. Number 3, Angela and Wesley. They are what you get when opposites attract and actually make it work. She's a tough, no-nonsense LAPD detective. He's a charming defense attorney who started off as an annoyance in the courtroom. Their connection took off in Season 2, and from the jump, it was clear these two had the right kind of chemistry. Angela and Wesley clashed on cases, but there was an underlying respect that made their dynamic magnetic. What started as just arguing gradually transformed into teasing banter and eventually blossomed into something real. By Season 3, they were engaged and expecting a child.
You are gonna look beautiful in your dress. And I will cry when I see you walking down the aisle, and you'll make fun of me for it for the rest of our lives.
No, I won't. Yeah, I will.
Of course, nothing about their story has been easy. Wesley getting kidnapped by the cartel, Angela going into labor while being held captive, and the aftermath of his trauma. Their struggles felt real, messy, painful, but also deeply human. But instead of tearing them apart, the chaos pulled the two closer. And let's not forget the heart. Whether it's quiet moments at home with their baby or celebrating career wins, Angela and Wesley's bond feels like a partnership. They argue, but they are solid. On The Rookie, that counts for a lot. Next up, we have the slow burn fan favorite. Number 2, Lucy and Tim. If you've watched the show for more than 5 minutes, you already know Chenford has a fan base. It started as a mentor-trainee dynamic in Season 1 and slowly evolved into one of the most emotionally satisfying arcs on The Rookie. Bradford was all rules, structure, and discipline, while Chen was optimism, instinct, and heart. At first, their dynamic was professional, tough love, sharp criticism, and plenty of snark. But it never felt one-sided. Tim pushed Lucy because he believed in her, and Lucy stood her ground, constantly proving herself. That mutual respect laid the foundation for something deeper. Well, the appeal has always been there, simmering under the surface. And the turning point came in Season 5, when a fake undercover kiss cracked the door open.
So I guess this is our official first date.
Last night was, for sure. I mean, it's a better story for the grandkids.
What followed was an emotional roller coaster of hesitant flirtation, late-night talks, and stolen glances. When they finally admitted their feelings, it was subtle and sweet. Chenford is a masterclass in letting a relationship breathe. No rush or shortcuts, just character development and emotional tension, and the moments that fans replay over and over. But Season 6 marked a challenging period for the two, culminating in Tim's decision to face his personal demons alone. Thankfully, the breakup seems not to be final.
I know what you're gonna say. You're still in love with me.
Wow, the arrogance!
Am I wrong?
Tim and Lucy keep on navigating the complexities of their changed relationship. And it's exciting to watch them rebuilding trust through shared experiences and mutual support. So why aren't they number 1? Because another couple beat them in terms of emotional grounding and healthy communication. Number 1, Nyla and James. While not the flashiest, this duo stands out as The Rookie's most stable and mature couple. Their relationship proves love can be strong and supportive without being boring. Introduced in Season 2 as fiercely private and recovering from trauma, Nyla found balance with James. A patient and emotionally intelligent school counselor, he offered unwavering support and care. Their bond developed quietly but meaningfully. One of their best moments came when Nyla found out she was pregnant. It could have been a classic "Are we ready for this?" plotline. Instead, James stepped up instantly.
You and I are going to make a kick-ass team. Because we're going to fight every day to make sure that this baby gets to live in a much better world than the one that exists right now.
That's a good answer.
His joy and commitment, and care for his family, created one of the most heartwarming arcs in the series. Supporting each other through career changes also added to a level most couples on the show simply never reached. They were demonstrating strong and supportive love without drama. Well, until lately. In Season 7, Nyla had a scare of James being unfaithful. Understandably, that led to some significant emotional strain.
Sometimes I worry that we got married too fast.
Whoa. Wait, what?
However, the situation was resolved, reaffirming their commitment to each other. So the rookie keeps on giving us wild rides when it comes to romance. But when it's about real love that lasts, it's Nyla and James all the way. Do you agree with our picks? Share your thoughts in the comments and watch other awesome videos on this channel.